Today, we are reading chapter, is it 12 or 11? Oh yeah, let me double that. Chapter 12. Yeah, yesterday we read Mystery of Sex Transmutation. Today we are reading chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind, The Connecting Link, The 11th Step to Riches. Thank you, Napoleon Hill. Thank you, Andrew Carnegie. It's because of you that we have become more than we could have, if we can say it any other way. Chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind, The Connecting Link, The 11th Step to Riches. Listen, we're reading Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, not just because we want to become rich in cash flow, because to be fair, after reading so many Napoleon Hill books endorsed by Andrew Carnegie, I've realized that is bullshit. The biggest rich that they're talking about is the evolved ideas that one has. So my intention for you listening to this is to receive as much as you can in evolved thought and idea patterns. So without further ado, Chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind, The Connecting Link, The 11th Step to Riches. The subconscious mind consists of a field of consciousness in which every impulsive thought that reaches the objective mind through any of the five senses is classified and recorded. From here, thoughts may be recalled or withdrawn as letters may be taken from a filing cabinet. It receives and files sense impressions or thoughts regardless of their nature. You may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, thought, or purpose which you desire to translate into its physical or monetary equivalent. The subconscious acts first on the dominating desires that have been mixed with emotional feelings such as faith, and consider this in connection with the instructions in chapter 2 on desire for taking the sixth steps. They're outlined, and the instructions in chapter 7 on planning, and you will understand the importance of the thought conveyed. The subconscious mind works day and night. It draws upon the forces of infinite intelligence for the power with which it voluntarily transmutes desires into their physical equivalent. To accomplish this, it always makes use of the most practical media. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, desire, or purpose you wish to be transformed into concrete form. Read again the instructions for using the instructions for using the subconscious mind in chapter 4. There is plenty of evidence to support the belief that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind and infinite intelligence. It is the intermediary through which anyone may draw upon the forces of infinite intelligence at will. It alone contains the secret process by which mental impulses are modified and changed into their spiritual equivalent. It alone is the medium through which prayer may be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer. I love that line. It alone is the medium through which prayer may be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer. Listen to that again. The possibilities of creative effort connected with the subconscious mind are stupendous and imponderable. They inspire one with awe. I never approach the discussion of the subconscious mind without a feeling of littleness and inferiority due perhaps to the fact that the entire stock of knowledge on this subject is so pitifully limited. The very fact that the subconscious mind is the medium of communication between the thinking mind and infinite intelligence is, of itself, a thought that almost paralyzes one's reason. Listen to that again. The very fact that the subconscious mind is the medium of communication between the thinking mind and the infinite intelligence is one of itself thought that almost paralyzes one's reason. You have the power of it. Why wouldn't it be? After you have accepted as a reality the existence of the subconscious mind and understand its possibilities as a medium for transmuting your desires into your physical or monetary equivalent, you will comprehend the full significance of the instructions given in Chapter 2. What comes to mind is he recommends you read this book 3 times before you begin. So just give it 6 weeks. Reread it a few times. You will also understand why you have been repeatedly admonished to make your desires clear and to put them in writing. The necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions will also become clear. The 13 principles are the stimuli with which you acquire the ability to reach and to influence your subconscious mind. Do not become discouraged if you cannot do this upon the first attempt. Remember that the subconscious mind may be voluntarily directed only through habit, under the directions given in Chapter 3 on faith. You have not yet had time to master faith. Be patient. Be persistent. A good many statements in the chapters on faith and autosuggestion will be repeated here for the benefit of your subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily, whether you make any effort to influence it or not. This naturally suggests to you that thoughts of fear and poverty, and all negative thoughts, serve as stimuli to your subconscious mind. Unless you master these impulses and give it more desirable food upon which it may feed, the subconscious mind will not remain idle. If you fail to plant desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts that reach it as the result of your neglect. We have already explained that thought impulses, both negative and positive, are reaching the subconscious mind continuously from the 4 sources mentioned in Chapter 11 on sex transmutation. For the present, it is sufficient to remember that you are living daily in the midst of all manner of thought impulses that are reaching your subconscious mind without your knowledge. Some of these impulses are negative, some are positive. You are now engaged in trying to help shut off the flow of negative impulses and to aid in involuntarily influencing, that's right, voluntarily influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. When you achieve this, you will possess the key that unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. Moreover, you will control that door so completely that no undesirable thought may influence your subconscious mind. Everything that is created begins in the form of a thought impulse. Nothing can be created that is not first conceived in thought. Through the aid of the imagination, thought impulses may be assembled into plans. The imagination, when under control, may be used for the creation of plans or purposes that lead to success in one's chosen occupation. All thought impulses intended for transmutation into their physical equivalent and voluntarily planted in the subconscious mind must pass through the imagination and be mixed with faith. The mixing of faith with a plan or purpose intended for submission to the subconscious mind may be done only through the imagination. From these statements, you will readily observe that voluntary use of the subconscious mind calls for coordination and application of all principles. Ella Wheeler Wilcox, a famous poet and journalist of the late 19th century, Ella Wheeler Wilcox, a famous poet and journalist of the late 19th and early 20th century, gave evidence of her understanding of the power of the subconscious mind when she wrote, "You never can tell what a thought will do in bringing you hate or love. For thoughts are things, and their airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. They follow the law of the universe, each thing creates its kind, and they speed over the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind. Miss Wilcox understood the truth that thoughts which go out from one's mind also embed themselves deeply in one's subconscious, whether they serve as a magnet, pattern, or blueprint, by which the subconscious mind is influenced while translating them into their physical equivalent. Thoughts are truly things, for the reason that every material thing begins in the form of thought energy. The subconscious mind is more susceptible to influence by impulses of thought mixed with feeling or emotion than by those originating solely in the reasoning portion of the mind. In fact, there is much evidence to support the theory that only emotionalized thoughts have any action influence upon the subconscious mind. It is a well-known fact, thinking about the passion and fire and activity in your willpower used within your whole vehicle of the body. It is a well-known fact that emotion or feeling rules the majority of people. If it is true that the subconscious mind responds more quickly to and is influenced more readily by thought impulses well mixed with emotion, it is essential to become familiar with the more important of the emotions. There are 7 major positive emotions and 7 major negative emotions. The negatives voluntarily inject themselves into the thought impulses, ensuring their passage into the subconscious mind. The positives must be injected through the principle of autosuggestion into the thought impulses that an individual wishes to pass on to the subconscious mind. Instructions have been given in Chapter 4 on autosuggestion. Think about that right there. One is your willpower, the other one is basically force-fed through the natural laws. Not necessarily forcefully, but powerfully? I don't know. Both, probably. It is a natural law, in fact. These emotions or feeling impulses may be likened to yeast in a loaf of bread because they can constitute the action element, which transforms thought impulses from the passive to the active state. Thus may one understand why thought impulses which have been well mixed with emotion are acted upon more readily than thought impulses originating in cold reason. You are preparing yourself to influence and control the inner audience of your subconscious mind in order to hand over to it the desire for money, which you wish transmuted into its monetary equivalent. It is essential, therefore, that you understand the method of approach to this inner audience. You must speak its language, or it will not heed your call. It understands best the language of emotion or feeling. Let us, therefore, describe here the 7 major positive emotions and the 7 major negative emotions so that you may draw upon the positives and avoid the negatives when giving instruction to your subconscious mind. The 7 major positive emotions: the emotion of desire, the emotion of faith, the emotion of love, the emotion of sex, the emotion of enthusiasm, the emotion of romance, the emotion of hope. There are other positive emotions, but these are the 7 most powerful and the ones most commonly used in creative effort. Master these 7 emotions. They can be mastered only by use, and other positive emotions will be at your command when you need them. Remember in this connection that you are studying a book intended to help you develop a money consciousness by filling your mind with positive emotions. You do not become money conscious by filling your mind with negative emotions. The 7 major negative emotions to be avoided: the emotion of fear, the emotion of jealousy, the emotion of hatred, the emotion of revenge, the emotion of greed, the emotion of superstition, the emotion of anger. Positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. That's right. They cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. It is your responsibility to make sure that positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. Here, the law of, so basically you must control it, and you obviously don't want negative, so you must be in control of your life and vehicle as much as possible, all the time, if possible, which I don't know if it is. Here, the law of habit will continue to your aid, from the habit of applying and using the positive emotions. Eventually, they will dominate your mind so completely that the negatives cannot enter it. Only by following these instructions literally and continuously can you gain control over your subconscious mind. The presence of a single negative in your conscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. If you are an observant person, you must have noticed that most people resort to prayer only after everything has failed, or else they pray by a ritual of meaningless words. And because it is a fact that most people who pray do so only after everything else has failed, they go to prayer with their minds filled with fear and doubt, which are the emotions the subconscious mind acts upon and passes on to infinite intelligence. Likewise, that is the emotion infinite intelligence receives and acts upon. If you pray for a thing, but have fear as you pray that you may not receive it, or that your prayer will not be acted upon by an infinite intelligence, your prayer will have been in vain. Prayer does sometimes result in the realization of that for which one prays. If you have ever had the experience of receiving something for which you prayed, go back in your memory. That's right. Go back in your memory and recall your actual state of mind while you were praying, and you will know for sure that the theory here described is more than a theory. The time will come when schools and educational institutions will teach the science of prayer. Moreover, prayer may then be reduced to a science. When that time comes, it will come as soon as humankind is ready for it and demands it. No one will approach the universal mind in a state of fear, for the very good reason that there will be no such emotion as fear. Ignorance, superstition, false teaching will have disappeared, and we will have attained our true status as children of infinite intelligence. A few have already attained this blessing. If you believe this prophecy is far-fetched, take a look at the human race in retrospect. Less than 200 years ago, it was commonly believed, I'll say 320 years ago, it was commonly believed that lightning was evidence of the wrath of God, and people feared it. Now, thanks to the power of faith, we have harnessed lightning and made it turn the wheels of industry. Until relatively recent times, it was believed that the space between the planets was nothing but a great void, a stretch of dead nothingness. Now, thanks to this same power of faith, we know that far from being either dead or void, the space between the planets is very much alive. That is the highest form of vibration known, excepting perhaps the vibration of thought. Moreover, we know that this living, pulsating, vibratory energy that permeates every atom of matter and fills every niche of space connects every human brain. That's right, connects every human brain with every other human brain. Every other brain, really, I presume. What reason do we have to believe that this same energy does not connect every human brain with infinite intelligence? There are no toll gates between the finite mind of humans and infinite intelligence. The communication costs nothing except patience, faith, persistence, understanding, and a sincere desire to communicate. Moreover, the approach can be made only by each of us ourselves. Paid prayers are worthless. Infinite intelligence does no business by proxy. You either go direct or you do not communicate. You may buy prayer books and repeat them until the day of your doom without avail. Thoughts that you wish to communicate to infinite intelligence must undergo transformation, such as can be given only through your own subconscious mind. The method by which you may communicate with infinite intelligence is very similar to that through which the vibration of sound is communicated by wireless communication. If you understand the working principle of radio, TV, and cellular phones, you know that audio and video can be communicated through the ether until it has been stepped up. It cannot be communicated through the ether until it has been stepped up, in quotes, or changed into a rate of vibration which the human ear or eye cannot detect. The sending station picks up the audio and video with scrambles or modifies it by stepping up the vibration millions of times. Only in this way can the vibrations be communicated through. Only in this way can the vibrations be communicated through the ether. After this transformation has taken place, the ether picks up the energy and carries that energy to receiving stations, and these receiving sets step that energy back down to its original rate of vibration so it can be seen and heard. The subconscious mind is the intermediary that translates one's prayers into terms that infinite intelligence can recognize, presents the message, and brings back the answer in the form of a definite plan or idea for procuring the object of the prayer. Understand this principle and you will know why mere words read from a prayer book cannot and will never serve as an agency of communication and will never serve as an agency of communication between the human mind and infinite intelligence. Before your prayer will reach infinite intelligence, a statement of the author's theory only, it is probably transformed from its original thought vibration into terms of spiritual vibration. Faith is the only known agency that will give your thoughts a spiritual nature. Faith and fear make poor bedfellows. Where one is found, the other cannot exist. Damn, that was crazy. I hope you have got a lot from this, and I appreciate you. Like and subscribe to join us next time. I hope you have the best day.